Hello there, Atheist Junior here, your friend and humble narrator. And geez, I know it's been a while since I put out a piece of content. It's been a little while. I'm actually not dead. Uh, I'm gonna level with you guys. So, um, a new Legend of Zelda game came out, and Tears of the Kingdom, and it completely consumed my life. So I kind of I became highly addicted to playing that game. I have about 150 hours in it, and it sort of neglected my content a little bit, and you guys, and I don't want to do that. So I apologize for that, but it's good to take a break every now and then from YouTube. You know what I mean? So I'm ready to get back into it. Hopefully somebody watches this video. Hopefully I didn't lose all of my subscribers. It wasn't that long, but yeah. So Kent did another video about Aron Ra, Mr. Nelson. So we're gonna take a look at that. We'll do an old school Whack and Atheist stream. I've been playing the new Legend of Zelda like nonstop. I became very addicted to it, and that's why I haven't uploaded. Sorry.
Second atheist is Aron Nelson, who calls himself Aron Ra, the sun god. They said he legally changed his name. I got no evidence for that, but you're still not a god. Former president of Atheist.
Why would you require evidence that he changed his name? You mean court papers that he legally changed his name? I mean, have you given evidence that you have an actual doctorate or 4 of them? No. So your standard of evidence is not very good here. I haven't seen any evidence for your God, and you claim that there's no evidence for evolution when we know that there is. So when you say I haven't seen any evidence of Aron Ra's name change, first of all, do you require everybody who's had a legal name change to present the paperwork before you will actually call them by the name that they prefer? No, you would just do that because that's the polite thing to do. You know what I mean? Like, you wouldn't question it. Stupid Hovind.
Atheist Alliance of America. Whew. Wow. American atheists. They're not slowing down, neither are we. Christian nationalism. Oh, okay. Since 1963, American atheists protected the absolute separation of religion from government. You guys are lying or stupid, okay? Evolution is a religion. That's the only religion you want included in the textbooks. You're not trying to protect the public from religion. You're trying to only exclude everybody else's religion except yours.
So you think evolution is a religion. You also think atheism is a religion. So how does that make sense? How can somebody have 2 different religions? I don't think that they can. And it's been ruled by the Supreme Court that evolution is not a religion. So this has actually been settled in a court of law. Like, I know you always like to say that, oh, in a court of law, you know, well, this actually was settled in a court of law that evolution is not a religion. And when creation has to face against evolution in court, it's lost every single time. In fact, the defenders of intelligent design, some of them didn't even show up to the court date because they knew it would be such a blowout in the Dover trial.
Evolution's a religion. Atheism's a religion. You have to believe there's no God.
Believing something doesn't make that a religion. And right there, you said it. How can you have 2 different religions?
There's no possible way you can know that. Gave tours today in the mud. Excuse me just a minute. I got spots on my glasses. There, seeing spots before my eyes. There, okay.
Are you sure those aren't symptoms from a stroke?
So you're not trying to protect religion from government, separate it. Now more than ever, we need your help. Okay, guys, I'm here to help. All you atheists, pay attention. Evolution is a religion. It's the dumbest religion in history. You guys believe the universe came from nothing. That's a belief, not a science. You believe life came from a rock.
No. Scientists don't know where the universe came from. So the universe didn't come from something. The Big Bang Theory doesn't say that. And we don't know what happened before the Big Bang, or if the phrase before the Big Bang even makes sense to say. So we don't believe that the universe came from nothing. But if people did, that would still be a less ridiculous thing than to believe it was created by a god. And no, I don't know how many times people have to tell you that people don't think that life came from a rock, because that would mean that rocks were alive and could give birth, and nobody thinks that. And you can't show a textbook that says anything like that. You can only give your twisted interpretation of the textbooks, implying what you say they do. You say the textbooks imply that we think we came from a rock, but they don't. And you can't show any video clip of a evolutionist on YouTube saying, I believe that we came from rocks.
You believe plants and animals all evolved from an amoeba or some single-celled creature. You believe all the rock layers are different ages. This is dumb.
No, that's just the stratigraphy. That's the law of superposition. It's very logical. If something falls on top of another thing, and then another thing falls on top of that, that means that the thing on top fell later than the thing under it, right? Well, there you go.
Really, really dumb. They make these charts and say the layers are different ages. Now,
we have a super chat from Too Young to Feel This Old, Too Fast, Too Furious. For $5, it says, welcome back, AJ. Well, thank you. Thank you for the super chat. I really appreciate the donation.
stop and think for a minute. The layers are not different ages. Where's all this new material coming from? Outer space? They say the bottom layer is 2.5 billion years old. The top one's this one's 145 million. Oh. Where was it sitting around for 1.5 billion years? Huh? This one's only 10,000 years old. Oh. Where was it sitting around? All the layers are the same age.
What do you mean, where was it sitting around? It was part of the geologic column, and then a new layer formed above it. It's not that complicated.
No, there is no geologic column, but that's all Mr. Nelson's argument was based on. I'll show you that in just a minute.
Not true.
They date the layers by the fossils. They turn around and date the fossils by the layers. It's a logical fallacy called circular reasoning.
Oh, my YouTube dashboard says today is the birthday of my channel, so that's cool. I didn't know that.
Reasoning in a circle. Yep. Yes, boys and girls. How do you date the age of the rocks? By the fossils they contain. How do you date the fossils? By the rocks they come from. Pure circular reasoning.
How do we know God exists? Because it says so in the Bible. How do we know that the Bible is to be believed? Because it's the word of God. Well, how do we know that God inspired the Bible? Because it says so in the Bible. Around and around and around. It's just projection. It's all Kent does is project onto others the faults that he has that we don't want to share, that we don't share. We don't believe in things on a circular basis of logic. You do. But you have to straw man, misrepresent people and say that you have a circular reasoning. No, we don't, but you do. Asshole.
Absolutely.
Your asshole is circular.
Absolute idiotic. There is no geologic column. It does not exist anywhere. But that's the Bible for the atheist. We're going to attack that tonight. I've debated Dr. Nothing.
Dr. Nothing.
Mr. Nelson, Aron Ra, many times. I educated him about biblical kinds. Aron Ra and the arrowhead dissertation. I talked about that on our program here years ago. Response to Aron Ra round 2. Ken Hovind versus Aron Nelson debate part 7 back in 2018.
That you still haven't finished that debate?
Take him on any time if there's no interrupting. I'll show you at the end. Mr. Nelson, open challenge.
If there's no interrupting, you interrupt people all the time during debates. You can't say I'll debate him anytime and then say, oh, if there's a bunch of stipulations that swing the rules to be in my favor. You know, I have my own moderator and Aron can't talk when I'm talking and they have to mute his mic. It's stupid.
He gave James Tour a challenge. James Tour decimated Professor Dave, who's not a professor of anything.
Yeah, so this is like the 4th or 5th or probably 10th Whacking Atheists that Kent has done on Aron Raw, and I've done a bunch of streams watching these. So this is like the sequel to the last Aron Raw, which was Endgame. So it's like Aron Raw versus Kent Hovind, Tokyo Drift, like Too Fast, Too Furious, Tokyo Drift.
James Tour, about the origin of life. They did a debate, about a week ago. If you get a chance to watch that, type in James Tour versus Professor Dave. Let me go over to the right one here and get up to the YouTube right here.
I believe Aron Ra has a bachelor's degree that he just recently got.
Okay, here is the 1.5 minute long question Mr. Nelson asked him. And it's all based on a very false assumption.
Mr.
Ready?
Nelson?
Let's try it here.
Oh, of course he can't play the video. He can never just play a video.
I got to go click on this one.
I gotta click on the thing. Hovind.
Got to click on that one. There.
Click
Okay.
on the Hovind. You put your left Hovind
Did
in,
we
you put
know
your right
that
Hovind
there's
in.
no vertebrates, no terrestrial vertebrates 300 million years ago? There's no land animals at all 400 million years ago?
Correct.
There's no vertebrates at all 500 million years ago, and so on. Protists at best are maybe 1 billion years ago, and prior to that,
We're at 30 seconds.
First microscopic anything's alive would be 3.8 billion years ago, and so there's nothing multicellular for that whole billion years. Wouldn't that be an indication that it happened, since prior to that there's nothing at all?
We are obviously here.
You can hear James' responses later.
That you're not going to play it. It's a 1 minute long video. It's a short. Just let it finish. And that it happened. What is Aron saying? It happened. Does he mean evolution? Because this clip cuts out the context of what he was saying, unless that's when he started talking.
But I want you to think now, Mr. Nelson, if you're capable, I want you to think about
If you're capable, so what, you think he's not capable of thought? What a ridiculous thing to imply.
what you said. It's all based on a false premise. Like this one. All humans are dogs. Well, that's a false premise. All dogs are mammals. That's true. So all humans are mammals. That's true. They came to the right conclusion starting with a false premise.
That's not all humans are dogs is not a premise. That's a conclusion. That was a weird example.
Sometimes they start off with the true premise and end up with a false series. Several of you been.
Whoops. I think the right way to have done that example would have been to say all humans are mammals, all dogs are mammals, therefore all humans are dogs, right? So all dogs are mammals, but not all mammals are dogs. There you go.
All dogs are mammals. That's true. So all humans are mammals. That's true. They came to the right conclusion starting with a false premise. Sometimes they start off with the true premise and end up with a false conclusion. All trees are plants. Plants are animals. That's false. Therefore, a tree is an animal. Well, the argument's valid, but it's not sound argument. Okay, they got.
I don't know if this definition is accurate, but whatever.
Got a mistake in here. Let's see. Even Sam Harris, the atheist, whom I'll debate anytime, said an
I would love to see that.
argument can be logically valid but unsound in that it contains a false premise. You're starting on the wrong foot and therefore leads to a false conclusion. Scientists are smart. Smart people do not make mistakes. Therefore, scientists do not make mistakes. You can see that logical in there. It's wrong.
See, that was a better formed version of what you showed.
Okay? So, the intelligent layman has long suspected circular reasoning in the use of rocks to date fossils and fossils to date rocks. The geologist has never bothered to think of a good reply, feeling the explanations are not worth the results. Well, they're worth the trouble, as long as the work brings results. They've known this for a long time.
I actually kind of agree with that, because it's not. What's the point of trying to explain to a creationist, a scientist explaining to a creationist how geology proves evolution, how geology works, if they're just going to go in one ear and out the other? But we know that the science works. So I agree with that. It is a waste of time. A lot of this is a waste of time. I mean, it's done for entertainment, debating creations on YouTube, but it's not a scientific endeavor.
Based on circular reasoning. It cannot be denied from a strictly philosophical standpoint. Geologists are arguing in a circle. The succession of organisms has been determined by a study of their remains embedded in the rocks, and the relative ages of the rocks is determined by the remains of the organisms.
The ages of rock layers are bracketed by fossils, index fossils, but we get absolute dates from radiometric dating.
So Encyclopedia Britannica caught on to that? Oh, that was back
1949. I think this is a little out of date, Kent.
years ago. I'm sure that author got fired.
Wow.
Ever since William Smith
Fired out of a cannon into the sun. Hovind.
at the beginning of the 19th century,
Will Smith, Big Willie style. Na 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 na. Na 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 na. Get Hovind with it.
fossils have been and still are the best and most accurate method of dating and correlating the rocks in which they occur.
We are the men in black.
Apart from very modern examples, which are really archaeology, I can think of no cases of radioactive decay being used to date fossils. Radiometric dating would not have been feasible if the geologic column had not been erected first.
So what? Even if this is true, so what?
It's all based on that stupid geologic column, which does not exist.
It's not stupid. You're stupid. Don't call the geologic column stupid. It's sensitive. You'll hurt its feelings. Just because it's rock hard doesn't mean it's not soft on the inside.
Paleontologists cannot operate this way. There's no simple way to look at a fossil and say how old it is unless you know the age of the rocks it comes from.
Which we do.
Wait. So you date the fossil by the rock. This is Niles Eldredge, big brand name evolutionist.
Wow.
And this poses something of a problem. If we date the rocks by the fossils, how can we then turn around and talk about patterns of evolutionary change through time in the fossil record?
Why would you not be able to? Because you can see the change when you lay out a series of fossils. Hello, Horazio. Yeah, I've been gone because I got very addicted to a video game and neglected my channel. My bad. But you should come on sometime. We'll do a collab. That'll influence me to stream more often. But you can see if you lay out a series of fossils, because creationists always ask for what's one transitional fossil. Well, Lucy is a great example of a transitional fossil because her feet, hips, pelvis, skull, toes, all of it shows a transition between humans and animals that look more like chimpanzees or apes. Humans are apes, but you know what I mean. Chimps, animals that don't walk upright, apes that don't walk upright. It shows a clear transition, but really, and Tiktaalik is a great example of a transitional fossil, but those Sarcopterygian fish, you want to show them in a line where you show Tiktaalik, but you also show the other fish that were found in that same family in evolutionary order through the fossil record. And you can see the development of lobe-finned fish. You can see the change from fish to tetrapods, the development of limbs, shoulders, and the pattern of bones going from the long bones in the upper arm, one bone, two bones in the forearm, and many bones in the hand, your digits and metacarpals.
Good question, Niles. What'd you come up with? The rocks do date the fossils, but the fossils date the rocks more accurately.
The fossils bracket the dates of the rocks, but we can provide absolute dating with radiometric dating. So the fossils aid in radiometric dating, but you're just leaving out radiometric dating as if it either doesn't exist or doesn't work, which is ridiculous. It's ridiculous to just hand wave away the entire field of radiometrically dating things. This is a good screenshot, I can't. Oh boy.
Brilliant. Stratigraphy cannot avoid this kind of reasoning if it insists on using temporal concepts because circularity is inherent.
Tears of the Hovind. Yes, Tears of the Kingdom is greater than Kent Hovind. I'm going to play that when I'm done streaming. Kent, fuck you.
In the derivation of timescales. Right. They derive these timescales of millions of years based on circular reasoning. Put a lot of work into that's going to really.
Damn it, I did it again. A lot of people have told me this, that after watching my videos, they're going around saying Hovind, or like their kid is saying Hovind. It's like, what have I done? What does this have to do with the clip you showed? What does this have to do with Aron? Like, I'm just going to skip ahead because he's just giving the same examples here.
You either are with us or against us. Well, now hold it. That's a false dilemma.
That's a quote from President Bush.
You're putting me in a choice. I got to make a choice.
Well,
This false dilemma fallacy occurs when a limited number of choices, outcomes, or views are presented as the only options, when in fact, more options exist. Which is correct? Elephants are orange or elephants are green?
yeah, I haven't watched any Kent videos in a long time, and I come back and he's saying the same exact shit. I needed a break from Kent, honestly, because I got so sick of watching his videos that I also took a detox from Hovind, and it was cleansing. You know, got out a lot of the toxins, the Hovinds.
Are there any other choices?
Well,
How about gray?
oh,
Aron says, give me the truth. Okay, Mr. Nelson, I'm about to do it. Now, you don't want it.
well.
I know you don't want it. I'm going to give you the truth.
Kent loves that line. You can't handle the truth. I swear he doesn't realize that Jack Nicholson played the villain in A Few Good Men, which is one of my favorite movies, by the way. Absolute great movie. If you haven't seen it, you should.
Most people get nervous when they tell lies. That's a premise of an argument. That's true.
Most people, not Hovind.
You appear nervous. That's a minor premise.
Well,
So it's true. You must be lying about something. Now, that's a faulty conclusion. That's another way you can do lousy reasoning, okay? Either or fallacy. Either or.
am I trying to say that Lucy is a mammal that better resembles an ape than a modern human? No, I was saying that Lucy shows a transition between ancient apes and modern humans.
Or fallacy occurs when you present two options and you must choose one. Example, you are either a cat person or a dog person. Nobody loves them both equally.
Well, that's just true, but you can't. You say that you're either an evolutionist or a creationist. You're either a Christian or you believe in evolution, which is not true because most Christians believe in evolution. So you're guilty of this.
What? No, that's an either or. That's a fallacy. It's not true. If you're not a vegetarian, you must not care about animal welfare.
Jesus is not real. Well, Jesus probably existed. I'm not a Jesus mythicist, but he didn't have godlike powers. He wasn't a god.
There's no principle in between position. Yeah, there is. Okay. If you're not with me, you're against me. I have friends and enemies, but not acquaintances. That's a false fallacy. Either or fallacy.
Either.
Let's try it with the evolutionists.
Either Hovind.
You're either a scientist or a creationist. You cannot be both. This is what they do, isn't it?
Well, that's just true.
That's a false either or fallacy. I think you can't. If you're going to be a real scientist, you have to be a creationist.
No, because creationism is pseudoscience.
Huh? Did we evolve from fish A? Or
You can't. Doing creationism is not doing science. So this is just true.
Or from fish B? That's what they did to the students in 4th grade. Which one did we evolve from? Oh, that's a fallacy. Why are there no vertebrates
Then why do you say it?
500 million years ago? Mr. Nelson, that was your question? That's a false, based on a false premise. And
No, it's not. That's true. Was this whole speech leading up to that, for him just saying that this was false, what Aron said? You had to take that much time to just say that his premise was false? It's not. There are no vertebrates found in the Precambrian. Can you disprove that? Show me one. Show me one.
an either or fallacy, okay? Mr. Nelson's question to James Tour is like asking, why are elephants green? The question itself is invalid. They're not green. So your question is wrong. Your whole question to James Tour was based on a fallacy. Enjoy.
Oh my God, I did it again. Mr. Hovind, he is putting his videos on Rumble, but his channel is Genesis Baptist Church. I keep skipping to the beginning of the video.
I think you can't, if you're going to be a real scientist, you have to be a creationist. Huh?
That's stupid.
Did we evolve? Okay. The Sensibly Speaking podcast. Ignorance is not just what you don't know, it's also what you won't know. Well, I'm glad you feel that way, Aron, because there's some things you don't know and you don't want to know. You're ignorant about this. Your question to James Tour involved a lot of false premises. Here is what he said to James Tour. We know there are no terrestrial vertebrates for 300 million years ago. Stop right there. How do you possibly know that? Were you there 300 million years ago? You don't know that. It's a false premise. And it's all based on the dumb geologic column, which does not exist. So your question is no good right from the beginning. You said there are no land animals at all 400 million years ago. You don't know that either. That's appeal to authority. And it's based on a false premise. There is no geologic column. There are no vertebrates at all 500 million years ago.
How is it an appeal to authority? Who's the authority?
Oh, really? You know that for sure? Huh?
We don't find any in the Precambrian fossil record.
Protists are at best 1 billion years ago. The first microscopic anything alive is 3.8 billion years ago. There's nothing multicellular for that whole billion years. Wouldn't that be an indication that it happened? That's life from non-life. Prior to that, do you see how every question, part of his question, was based on this dumb geologic column? The geologic column is the Bible for the atheist and the evolutionist. It can only be found one place in the world, the textbooks.
So the Bible for evolutionists is found in the textbooks. So if evolution is a religion that's separate from Christianity, why does it have a Bible? And are Bibles bad? Is it bad to have a Bible?
This textbook author admitted it. It's right there on the shelf.
How can a scientific model be a Bible?
If there were a column of sediments, unfortunately, no such column exists. It does not exist, folks. There's no geologic. Are my textbooks back here now, brother?
Hovind was crawling. Hovind knows Hovind was there crawling around. Crawling in my skin. These Hovinds, they will not heal.
Science. They built a bookcase for me for this. No, they're still over there. Okay. There is no fossil record either. There's no geologic column. There is no fossil record. There's a lot of fossils.
Hovind Park.
Boy, we got a bunch of them around here. I like fossils. We got a whole
I like dicks.
museum full of them. But
You do not have a museum. Fuck off.
they don't talk. And there's no date stamped on them.
So that means that we can't date it because there's not a date stamped on it. Ridiculous.
This does not say, this clam is 14.7 million years old. It doesn't say that.
Oh, well, shit. I guess that means it's not 14 million years old then.
No date on it. Can't talk. There is
So I guess there's no way to prove how old it is.
no fossil record. There is no geologic column. Kids, don't believe that junk in school. Just say, teacher, I don't believe it.
You pedophile enabler.
If they ask a question on the test and you know what they want you to say, you can say, the textbook says, blah, 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 puke their answer back on the page, and then say, however, this is stupid and not true, and I don't believe it.
What a smug asshole.
And if they mark that wrong, you call me. I got some lawyer friends waiting in the wings to handle that one for you.
You're going to have them sue the school for trying to educate a kid about evolution? What kind of monster are you?
You gave the answer they wanted. You learned what they wanted you to learn.
But you're calling it stupid. You can't have a kid write on their paper that I think the answer that the teacher gave me is stupid. He's going to get in trouble, and rightfully so.
They can't force you to believe it. You let me know when teacher gives you a hard time for answering a question like that.
You can't do shit, Kent. What would you even do?
There's no fossil.
You've lost every court case you've ever been in. You have fake lawyers, Kent. You have sovereign citizen lawyers who make fake court documents. You would not be able to do anything. You don't have lawyers waiting in the wings. Fuck off, dude.
Record. There are fossils by the trillions.
I have lawyers.
They're from the flood of Noah.
Oh.
But it's not a record.
What is a record then?
The fossil record, false premise right there, helps paleontologists, archaeologists, and geologists place important events and species in the appropriate geologic era.
This guy wants to talk about false premises. You base your belief on how old the universe is by the dates of the patriarchs in the Bible. That's what you base the age of the universe on, Kent. Fuck off with accusing other people of having false premises.
It's based on the law
Premises. Hovind.
of superposition. Super means above.
Hovind means stupid.
So is it in a position above? So again, they're dating the fossils by which layer they're found in, and they're assuming the top layer is younger, which it is not. The layers form sideways, not vertically. We covered that on a week ago, I guess. Okay. Which states that in undisturbed rock sequence, the bottom layers are older than the top layers. Well then, where's this top layer coming from? Come on now, you atheists, never answer that. Where'd it come from? Fossil record. There is.
This question has literally been answered so many times to you, Kent. I've told you the answer. Grayson has told you. Mark Reed has answered this question. Andrew Cumming has answered this question. Horazio's answered this question. Preston answered this question. I think Forrest answered this question. Aron has certainly answered this question. Grayson has told you the answer to this in 3 different debates that I could point to, and multiple videos where you've talked to him and he's given you the answer over and over again. And then you say that no atheist has answered this question. Ridiculous. Okay, we have a super chat from Ian Chen for $7.99 Australian. It says, welcome back, AJ. You've been missed. Did you click on too many links playing Zelda? Well played.
No fossil record.
But thank you.
If you take these things.
Thank you for the super chat. I appreciate your donation.
Things made out of sand, I got mine right here, and flip it over, it'll make, how many layers did that make? Gee whiz, bunch, 20 or 30? Is the top layer younger? I bet this has all been in here the whole time, same layer.
Why did he show an older picture of him with a sand toy? What is the relevance of that? What's the significance of that photo? Is that supposed to like aid us in some information? Why did he do that? What was the point of that? I honestly want to know, why did he show that picture? Like, look, I've been giving this example for a long fucking time. Look, I have the photo to prove it.
Length of time. I bet every grain of sand in here has been in here for the same amount of time as the rest of them. There is no fossil record. That's stupid. It's dumb. It didn't happen.
I bet every grain of sand has been in there the same amount of time. Yeah, because some person made this sand toy. So of course that's true. But that doesn't mean the layers all formed at the exact same time, does it, Kent? Those layers of sand, they didn't all form at the exact same time, did they? No, they didn't. Because if you watch one of those toys, it doesn't settle out instantly, does it? No, it takes a little while. But even you can't see that.
Happen. It'll make many layers. A sand art toy does that. It has different densities of sand. And they separate by density. You can make all kinds of cool designs with it. So the animals might be sorted a little bit also. Animals might be sorted based upon their habitat. Clams would just...
Why didn't I stream gameplay while debunking videos like Telltale does? That is a good point. I've watched some of those streams he does on Twitch. I don't think I'm a good multitasker. I don't think I would be able to focus on watching a video and play video games at the same time. But his streams are great though. So shout out to Telltale. I met him in person too at the Atheist convention. I forget the Faithless Forum. Really nice guy. He was one of the organizers. Gave some great presentations.
Generally be found at the bottom because they're already at the bottom when the flood starts.
Whoa.
Wouldn't they be the first ones buried? Birds are found on top usually because birds are the last ones to drown in a flood. This has nothing to do with evolution. It has to do with their habitat, where they live. Birds live in the air. They're the last ones to drown in a flood. Clams live at the bottom of the ocean already. Maybe they're sorted based upon their mobility. You know, clams can't run very fast. Maybe they're sorted based upon their intelligence. As far as anybody can figure out, clams aren't too smart.
So Grayston, in his last debate, totally stumped you on this question, Kent, by asking about where does plankton fit into this model? Because plankton has all four of these categories differently, so it couldn't be sorted in this way. And you had no answer. You had no answer for it. You had nothing to say in response. You couldn't answer the question.
Mm-hmm. Ask them a question, they clam up. Mm-hmm. Maybe they're based on body density. You know, clams' shells are a little heavier than bird feathers. Not based on how they evolved. Stop. James Hutton made up this whole stupid idea of the geologic column back in 1830. In the 1700s, he invented this crazy idea that the top layers are younger than the bottom layers. Charles Lyell, the lawyer from Scotland who hated the Bible, made up the principles of geology. He said the layers are different ages and they form uniformly. We can see it takes X number of million years for each layer to form. This whole thing was made up 200 years ago, and it's baloney. Don't believe it. Charles Lyell, this English or Scottish lawyer, was a scoffer. You can read his book, Principles of Geology.
Okay, so we're not going to sit through this whole fucking thing. I'm not going to show Kent's whole video. Fuck that. So we're going to wrap the stream up pretty soon, but we'll play a little bit more.
Their own lusts and saying, where is the promise of his
Kent is very senile.
coming? Since the fathers fell asleep, column,
Talk
the
about
last
Aron
and saying, their own lust. Oh, sure are. Column. It's the Bible for the atheist. I know. I'm sorry. Get a new Bible. That one's no good. Okay, throw it away. Knowing this first, there shall come in the last days scoffers.
Wow.
You mean there's going to come people that scoff at the Bible? Oh, sure are. Wow.
Good. More people should scoff at the Bible. I'm glad. Okay, we have a super chat from Lael for $20. Wow, thank you. Thank you. The evidence I can give that Kent is consistent is that he accepts radiocarbon dating when it comes to the Dead Sea Scrolls and when it comes to anything that does not fit into his 6,000-year creation story, and not when it comes. I assume that's what you meant. Is that true? I didn't know that. I would love to ask Kent about this because that's really interesting. That's funny. Well, thank you, though. Thank you for the super chat. I really appreciate it. And thank you for the other people who sent super chats. Ian Chen and, oh, God, I forgot the other person's name, but thank you. Like the video, you guys. A little bit of a shorter stream this time because I'm not so keen on the idea of showing Kent's whole video anymore because it's just too much of a slog to sit through. So I hope you guys enjoyed the stream. I'm going to be trying to get back into the habit of making content because I want to put stuff out for you guys. I want to put out videos so you guys can be entertained. I don't want to neglect the channel, but I did enjoy taking a little break from YouTube, and it is good from time to time. So, let me know. I don't know if my next video will be a live stream. I love how my video about Ray Comfort turned out. Thank you so much for the reaction to that video. There was a lot of really nice comments in that comment section because I worked really hard editing that. It took a long time, but I would love to produce another video like that because I really enjoyed getting to put out something that was edited where I'm not, saying using crutch words and it's just scripted. I really enjoyed doing that, even if it is a lot more work. So, we'll see. So I've specifically asked Kent that question. So another super chat from Lael. Thank you for the super chat. And we have one from Big Bad Mama for $2. Thank you. That's really funny. That's total hypocrisy on Kent's part, but you know, what else is new? Okay, guys. Well, I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Like the video, subscribe to the channel if you haven't. We're getting close to 8,000 subs. I'm only about 200 away, so I would really like to reach that soon. That would be awesome. So leave a comment telling me what you thought, and I'll just see you guys in the next video. Peace out.